Oh, look at that! That's going to be a picture. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the racing line for round 1 of season 4, the Volkswagen Jetta Cup, powered by GT Omega races 1 and 2 of the 14 round season, round 1 of 7, and we start our season off with Barber Motorsports Park, the track that you can see on your circuit, along with the weather for today. 26 degrees, 55% humidity, partly cloudy, with winds of 7 kilometers an hour. I am your commentator. It's me, Jack Johns. I am the Racing Line. We are them, and you can visit our website, theracingline.org, if you want to find out all the latest updates of the Volkswagen Jetta Cup and any other leagues that we run, including the Racing Line Clio Cup and the Racing Line Touring Car Championship. Anyway, we are live on the YouTube and Twitch channel, the Racing Line YouTube and Twitch channel. Good to see so many people in chat already. I think it's going to be tough to beat the amount of messages you all sent last time, but I mean, you can give it a damn good go. We've got Ruslan already in chat saying who's ready to witness the biggest debut disaster class, being his official first round for actual points this time. We've had a pre-selection race, which was done at Laguna Seca. We've had a media day, which was done at Lime Rock last week. And now we are racing for reals. The points are on offer today, and from now, we are trying to decide our Season 4 champion. Stephen Burns is in chat, says, let's go. Duncan Murray is saying, high five, I think that is. We have Jesus in chat saying hello. We have Jan in chat, the only one on Twitch so far, saying the lovely sound of Zandvoort. That was actually quite a good impression of Jan there. Zandvoort. But I don't know what he's talking about because we're not at Zandvoort. Unless he's talking about the diesel engines. And it's a joke that I don't understand. Kite the Bird. Not sure who that is, but they are saying good evening on YouTube. You are welcome. Please come in, enjoy the races. And we've got John Bailiff in chat as well saying, let's see if there's anything doing tonight. Let's see indeed. To answer Jesus' question, it will be as if it is live. For those of you that don't know who are joining us, the race has already happened. Things are a little bit different this season due to time differences, but there are both positives and negatives to doing it this way round. The stewarding is already done, so the final results after tonight are the final results, and we can actually see the championship order as it is, so I can go through that at the end of the stream. But as for the races, it will be as is. I actually can't remember because the stewarding was done a little while ago. I can't remember what happens and when, so it is going to be reacted to as it happens. Anyway, Barber Motorsports Park, first time here, first time doing, as John Bailiff would say. 34 drivers currently on track in this practice, and your lap times look like this. Jake Cranston is sitting at the top of the times. The number 78 machine, the Masters of Torque lead driver, two-time Jetta Cup champion, is currently 2 tenths faster than Henry Moore, sitting there in P2 for Street Casuals, the yellow striped 14 car. And then look at they're up there again. Those ORD boys are up there again as Bailiff pops it into P2 with a 38.0. But you got Malurek and Depart up there in P4 and 5. Stephen King P6, Otley P7. Let's give their full... No, not their full names. Give their full last names so that you can see who exactly is where. Although you'll see Loic Thon and Dan Thornton's name looking slightly different this time round. That is because when it is 3 letters, we noticed in Media Day they are both THO. So if you look down in 25th and 26th place, it now says LTH and DTH, so that you can tell the difference between those two. Loic Thon driving for Parallel Racing Group this season, and Dan Thornton driving for his team ORD. The Dan Blake remix, of course, the Dan Blake remix of Zandvoort was the reference. Why didn't I click to that? Of course you were talking about the beautiful remix of the intro. As we see Jake Cranston, there he is, your 2-time champion, currently fastest in practice. But what is going to happen in qualifying? I don't actually have to go through too much information right now, so we can. This is another bonus to skipping it. Let me just have a look at the gaps. What is the actual gap between the whole field in this practice session right now? Top 21, 22, separated by a second. Whole field, 2.7 seconds. Big old gap at the back. Gibson and Carraday needed to find a second in the practice session. But let's go through to qualifying and get this session underway. Just like that, it happens. 8 minutes of franticness about to begin. Jake Cranston looks like he was one of the first out. Oh no, it's not Jake Cranston, that is Donnie Henriksen in the Masters Tour car. Jake Cranston actually waiting at the end of the pit lane. Henry Morse driving through John Bailiff, and there they go. The 34 machines qualifying is about to begin. Which Win It or Bin It car is that just appearing? That is Kyle Ridley. Sounds like I just heard someone drive into the pit lane wall. Kieran Dempsey, the last Win It or Bin It car. And who's this going to be poodling along, trundling along? That is Duncan Murray, and Win It or Bin It's Manetveld, and there's a Street Casuals car as well, pretty late to the grid. That is Andy Geschwind. Andy Geschwind. I'm never going to get that name right. I get it right occasionally, but not enough for it to be casual like their team. Speaking of Geschwind, there he is, Andy Geschwind for Street Casuals. New driver to the season, Swiss driver, the number 72 machine. Taking us up the hill around Barber. Now, who shall we go for our first onboard quali lap ever for Season 4? Official, I think Dan Downing is actually the lead car right now. And he has Donnie Henriksen right behind him. Do we go on board with Dan Downing? Normally when we go on board with Dan Downing, he throws it. Do you know what? Patrick Depart. Let's go with him. Where is he on my screen? There he is. This is Patrick Depart entering the final section. And let's stay on board with him for his first time lap around Barber Motorsports Park. Jack confusing, Send It and Bend It and Win It or Bin It already. Well, they're basically the same team. Green and red. Completely different teams, apparently. Anyway, turn 1. A fast downshift to 5th gear. Gets back on the throttle as it swoops down and then comes back up. Downshift to 4th gear. You've got a long right-hander now as Patrick Depart holds it tight to the grass on the right-hand side. Accelerating all the way down this hill up to this blind crest. And then you've got this kind of longish straight, I guess, towards a hairpin of turn 5. Braking zone seems to be between the 2 and the 1. Down through the gears he goes. Drops it into 3rd there as he then he bounces over that curve on the exit. Not sure if that's the quickest way, but he gets a decent enough run. Now you've got a long run down now to the triple chicane. Turns 7, 8 and 9, I think. Turns it in, bounces over that right curve, bounces over the left, keeps going down the gears, holds it tight to the right. Lovely little section there. Sure, we're going to see some side-by-sides through that corner, despite it being evidently dangerous. Through this fast left-right, this will be turn 10 and 11. Easily flat in 6th gear by the looks of it. Not sure they're the quali times. I think they were from practice, John, so we should see them change. Well, I hope we see them change. Unless that is the quali times. Is everyone in order? We'll see. This final section looks tricky. The long right-handers. Oh, he's blinking already as Patrick depart. There we go. He's back in. Chucks it into this left. Sweeps in. He's blinking again. And what's he going to get when he crosses the line? It's a 1:30. It says, well, he hasn't crossed the line yet. Can't be. Oh, 1:38.7. There we go. It has updated, so you should see the times update once everyone crosses the line. You can see the order shuffling around. There we go. We need to get off of Patrick depart because his connection is all over the place. John Bailiff, the number 22 Win It or Bin It machine. On his first lap, looks like he did a 1:38.5, just 1/10 off of Mr. Cranston. Cranston popping in his fastest time straight away. Stephen Burns up there for Send It and Bend It as well, actually. Only 400ths off. I think he's behind. Here he is. He's behind John Bailiff. If we look on from the rear of John Bailiff's car, you can see Stephen Burns. In the rear, and he's got a Masters of Torque behind him. That is Jake Cranston. So it is actually this pair towing your two-time champion. I'm sure they're not intending to do it just for him. They're just driving their fastest lap. I mean, it's only 8 minutes. So with a 1:40 lap, you're not going to get many runs. And you've got to hope that no one gets in your way. Oh, that sounded like a big old rough downshift from Stephen Burns as he chucked it into turn 12, I believe that was. And it looks like Patrick depart has appeared in between the Win It or Bin It, Send It and Bend It boys. Excuse me. Into that final turn. Mounts the curve on the left-hand side. Will the times improve? Let's see what happens now when they cross the line. Dan Downing already has. John Bailiff goes fastest with a 38.2, and there goes Jake Cranston with a 37.9. So maybe that was the qualifying times, and now we're just re-watching it. But that's fine. Henry Morse goes up into P3. Majorek holds on to P4. King P5. Stephen Burns P6 now. Downing P7. Austin Farr for Street Casuals is in P8. Patrick depart drops to P10 as Maninveld pops up to P4. Dempsey now up into P7 with a 38.4. Let's have a look at the gaps. We're looking 2/3 of a gap there. But continuing on with 2 minutes left, everyone should get one more lap, one more time lap in each. Who is going to improve? Currently down, let's go from reverse order. So we've got Weisswanger, 2.7 seconds off the pace. He is down currently for Meatball Motorsport in 34th. Ahead of him is Loic Thon in 33rd for Parallel Racing Group, 2.3 seconds down. Tim Rutten on his season debut as well with Loic Thon. The two Dutch drivers down the order, 2.1 seconds off so far. Michael, the Meatball Motorsport veteran, is up in 31st, 2.1 seconds off as well. Only 5 thousandths between those two. There you can see the intervals between each driver. It says 4 thousandths there. 1/10 ahead of Michael as Henriksen pops up into 23rd. Is Caraday. Ikalukwe up there in 29th, and Amundare as well for the Lurchus Gaming boys in 28th. Just 9 thousandths away from Joseph Gibson, who is in the pits. He has called it. He is out. Austin Farr jumps up into P4, and the order is shuffling round as they all start crossing the line. Some people moving over, some people in the pits already. There's a lot of information popping up on your screens. 40 seconds left, so this is the last times. Andy Geschwind is going to cross the line. Can he improve? He's in 24th, jumps up to 23rd, passes Jesus Amundare by, well, 100th there. Jesus Amundare gets demoted to 24th place, and I think Martin Wallace has just crossed the line as well. 1.5 seconds down, so everyone within the 2-second mark now. But still, 22 places, 1 second between 22 places. Even Jan Weisswanger says it's not 2.7 anymore. Tim Rutten now down in 34th, 1.9 seconds back. So that gap has closed. Only 300ths off of Mr. Caraday. And let's have a look at your official grid then. So, your grid for race 1 of season 4 Volkswagen Jetta Cup powered by GT Amiga. It's Jake Cranston, your 2-time champion, taking the first pole position, the first official pole position of the season, with John Bailiff nearly 3 tenths off. That is a scary gap between those two. John Bailiff for winner of minute in P2. Henry Morse and Kyle Ridley make row 2. Eric Mannenfeld and Andre Mayerek are on row 3 with Stephen King and Kieran Dempsey, the ex-teammates on the RLTC. They're in 7th and 8th. Daniel Downing in P9. Stephen Burns makes it to the top 10 on his first qualifying in Season 4. Austin Farr and Matt Sanderson for Viking Raiders round off your top 12. The next lot are Patrick Depart, Joshua Germany, Greg Otley, Andy Fox, Sam Van Ols, Marcus Gjesdal, David Corpus and Sebastian Holmichael rounding off your top 20. Timu Toika, Andy Gschwind, Jesus Amundere, Dan Thornton, Ike Lequay, Loic Thon, Donny Henriksen, Duncan Murray, Jan Weiswanger and Martin Wallace round off your top 30. And your final 4 are Ruslan Kamedalin, Tim Rutten, Alejandro Caraday and Joseph Gibson coming up in 34th place for the first qualifying of the season. Best starting camera. That's a decent enough view. Jan says not 2.7 seconds anymore. As we wait, as the clock ticks down, when it hits the 2-minute mark, the lights will come on, or if everybody grids up. Andre Mayerek on it in chat. There we go, and the lights are out and away they go. No lights actually came up on the screen, but they are away. down through turn 1 as they all go single file almost immediately, which is bizarre to see. We haven't seen that too often. There's a couple of 2x2s at the back here. That's Timu Toika and Jesus Amundere side by side as they go round turn 2 now. Lap 1 of 8. Oh, nearly 3 wide as they exit turn 2. Timu Toika trying to pass Andy Gschwind and Jesus Amundere 2x2. Up the hill they go, down towards turn 5, the hairpin. No sends, nothing doing there for John Bailiff, who had a quick look at Jake Cranston as they entered that corner. Henry Morse also looking sharp as they headed down that corner. Kyle Ridley there in P4 also trying to take advantage. Side by side behind is Andre Mayerek and Eric Mannenfeld nearly. Andre Mayerek slots in front, keeps P5 as they enter the triple chicane. Coming down the hill now, they all come. Look at that for a shot. How many of them are there? There's 34 and they're all nearly side by side. There's a Goldwing car. There's ORD as well and ZFG side by side as they exit the chicane. Not sure who is going to come out on top of that. I can't even see who that is. Whoa! Did you see that in the background? That was Martin Wallace in the wall as he exited that corner with the PRG car. That would have been Alejandro Caraday or Loic Thon. It was one of these two. I think it was Loic Thon in the Parallel Racing Group car. Still 3 wide. This is for 31st place down towards the fast chicane. And Loic Thon's lost the rear. Onto the grass he goes. Gets a bit of a drift around the number 85 car. And there's someone else coming down the order. I think that's Matt Sanderson just blinking, actually. The lap before the last, Caraday tried to kill me. There was no time for me. The last was only decent quali lap I had, said Jan Weiswanger. I think he's talking about something in qualifying. As we see a number of drivers extending that final corner. That was Duncan Murray there in the distance, and they're all single file. And there's a Viking Raiders car as well. That's Joseph Gibson running wide on the exit in 32nd place. And we see King and Mannenfeld side by side on the exit of turn 2. King fighting him off in the Send It and Bend It car, trying to hold on to P6, but it looks like Eric might just have his nose on the inside of Stephen King down towards turn 5. He's got Andre Mayerek in front. King tries to hold it around the outside. They nearly touch on the exit. Is King going to be able to hold this? Let's swap to the nose of his car. You can just about see Mannenfeld on the left-hand side there. Who is going to come out on top? Behind them is Kieran Dempsey. This is what it looks like from his point of view in the Win It or Win It car. King on the inside, Mannenfeld round the outside. Oh my god, my voice is going. I can't shout, I can't get the excitement up. I knew I shouldn't have drunk today because I knew that I had this. Dan Thornton and Murray are swapping places, and Sebastian Holmichael back here. Looks like Murray's had an issue as he swoops back off, and he's moved over on Donny Henriksen there, and Donny's in the wall, and out of the race is Donny Henriksen, the Masters of Torque driver. That is not what you want to see, actually. That is a sad sight for Donny Henriksen. After talking with Donny, I believe that is in his words, Duncan Murray take out number 7 in 21 races. They find each other so often on track, and I have no idea why. As John Bailiff sets the fastest lap of the race in the tow of Jake Cranston, who leads this race by 0.6 of a second. John Bailiff currently the fastest man on track by 1/10, but he's half a second back from your two-time champion. Henry Morse sits behind him, can't see any way through to jump up into P2 just yet. This is what it looks like inside Henry Morse's machine. Carraday is swapping over places with Tim Rutten down here in 28th place. He goes on the grass. He doesn't want to do that as we see Tim drive off up the road. He's going to come under pressure from Jan Weiswanger if he keeps driving like that. There is Jan Weiswanger in the Meatball Motorsports machine. Oh, big send from Jan Weiswanger and a touch on the rear of Alejandro Carraday's car. Is he going to gain that position? Jan Weiswanger on the left-hand side does gain that position. That was from quite a ways back from Jan. And Joe Gibson, I think, is coming through as well on the left-hand side by the looks of it as they go down towards the triple chicane. Carraday keeps it, brakes later. Uses Samundra and Geschwind are also fighting, unless they're blinking, because they're not side-by-side right now. But it was all kicking off at the back there. Martin Wallace, who had that earlier issue, is up into 31st. He's got Loic Fon behind, who's down 6 places. Donny Henriksen down 7 after the contact with Duncan Murray. Sam Van Olsen has gained 1 position in the start of this race, up into 16th. Timu Toika is up 2 places and can see Marcus Giestel and Andy Fox in front of him side by side as he enters the final sector. Can he get a switchback on both of them? I don't know if he can. Kite the Bird says go, Geschwind, go. As you can see him in the Street Casuals car just behind this little fight. The Street Casuals, the nice blue and yellow machines. But Marcus Giestel looking under pressure from Timu Toiko, who has to switch to the left-hand side. LeQuay and Holmichael also swapping positions back there. Jan Weiswanger saying, he moved under braking, if you're slow don't brake early, but I get a warning. I think everyone watching it could be in agreement to say that that was very far back nonetheless. This is, well, I don't know if that was the same actually. We might have just seen the same move, but there wasn't contact made, and Jan will definitely argue and say that's because Giestel saw him come in and gave him the room. But they're side by side on the exit is the Viking Raiders machine and the Pulsar Esports machine as they enter the triple corner of 7, 8 and 9, and Giestel bounces over the curb. Timu Toika absolutely mounts his rear and spins. There goes Timu Toika off into the gravel, and look how many people are going to come through. Pretty much everyone. This is the point from Alejandro Carraday's Parallel Racing Group machine. I don't think he's going to gain that position. You can just see Timu up there, up the road, so he is the next car. Sebastian Holmichael, though, I think has just gained that position. Or has he? No, he hasn't. Timu Toika is ahead as they entered the fast chicane. Greg Otley and Joshua Germany fighting it out here in the mid-pack. 14th and 13th place these two are fighting for as Josh is squirreling his way through this final sector. Marcus Giestel in the pit lane, so from that touch into the turn 7, 8 and 9 with Timu Toika, it looks like he's got a meatball, so he'll be serving his meatball. We're on lap 5 of 8. Jake Cranston hasn't pulled away massively. John Bailiff holding on. He's within that half a second still at the front end. Henry Morse in P3. Carl Ridley dropping back a little bit. That Toika accident looks more impressive now. Yeah, that was a bit of a strange one, but Greg Otley is absolutely all over the rear of Joshua Germany. He has a quick little look, trying to intimidate. Had a quick little look to the left-hand side. Nothing doing. Slots in back behind. Doesn't toss the salad on the left-hand side. Keeps his wheels on the dark stuff. Gets back in that slipstream. He's got Sam Van Olst behind him. He's not shy to make any moves. Patrick Dupart as well has lost 3 places in this race, down to 16th place. He is not continuing his podium form in race 1s, which he normally does. You've got Farr and Anderson side by side through the flat out chicane. Anderson gaining that position, and Amundare and Murray are also fighting it out back here. That sounded like contact, and there goes an ORD car. That's Dan Thornton off into the wall. Duncan Murray involved in another incident. Oh, Dan Thornton. I think we just caught the back end of that, so I think this might be our first replay of the race as the cars come Look at the speed difference of those cars after Dan rejoins. Let's have a quick look at what just happened there. So this was down into the chicane. Duncan Murray gets a good exit by the looks of it. I wonder if there was contact before this. But now they're side by side down towards the fast bit. Dan Thornton brakes to give him room on the exit, but Duncan Murray just turns in like there's no car there. And he says, thank you, Dan Thornton, very much, but see you later. I'm going to just continue on my way, and he is in 21st place. Martin Wallace, well, everyone gains those positions. Marcus Gestel, does he pass him? We've got two Viking Raiders cars down here in 31st and 32nd. As Jake Cranston crosses the line to start his 6th lap, I believe, if the overlay is showing us the correct information. Very close was Henry Morse there behind. It also sounded like someone skidded around turn 1. Oh, there's Joshua Germany once again. Under pressure from Gregory Otley. Number 4 machine. Looks like he's had a few pushes, few bumps in the back. Dented rear end of Joshua Germany there. Greg Otley trying to find his way through. Is he going to send it this time? Doesn't even try the intimidation tactic. This time he holds it out wide, tries to get a switchback, tries to get the smoothest exit he can to possibly get a better run down towards this triple chicane. Nothing doing. Tim Rutten gets passed by Timu Toika down the inside of that hairpin. There are only 7 rounds. Duncan has to be quick for his race ban this season, says Fleisch is mine, you can use. We can talk about that when we go through the results. Don't worry about that. But Tim Rutten there going down to 24th place. Greg Otley, though, he at the moment, despite the times looking close all over the place, looks like one of the racier drivers at the moment as he goes to the right-hand side of Joshua Germany through this fast corner. Now he's on the inside line. I think he might have it. Josh turns in. Greg Otley slides round, and Sam Manolfs, Patrick Depart, and is that Andy Fox going to come through as well? Don't think he can hold it. Side by side, Greg Otley on the inside of the second to last corner, the outside of the final turn. My voice is going to go before the end of this stream, I have a feeling. Keeps it on the track, and I think Greg might have the run there as they head down towards turn 1. Patrick Depart now under pressure from Andy Fox. The Wiley Fox is going around the outside of turn 1. He's going to have the inside of turn 2, but he's on the grass. Is Andy Fox in the send it or bend it car? Couldn't quite get it done. Slots in nicely though, just in front of, that's a Lurchus Gaming car. It is David Corpus, the numberless, we should call him from now on, as Loic Thon and Jan Weiswanger swap places. Stephen Burns and Mats Anderson have been pretty close for the last couple of laps. Mats Anderson actually losing a couple of places there. Austin Farr now is on the outside as they head down towards the triple chicane, 7, 8 and 9. Which one of them is going to hold this? Is Mats Anderson going to be able to hold it on the inside? Bounces over the curve. They give each other room. They're mounting all the space they can. Bit of a touch there on exit from Anderson, but I think that's all fair game, to be honest. Both survive. Both carry on. Anderson holds that position, keeps P11. Austin Farr in P12. Remember, the official reverse grid has changed. Whoa, look at that. That was Corpus and Geschwind side by side through that bit. And Jesus Amundere says, okay, you sacrifice your speed through that section because I now am going to try and come through. Still side by side. Amundere and Geschwind. Oh, big touch. Jesus Amundere losing the rear a bit, and Geschwind keeps that position. So Jesus couldn't quite gain there in P20. As I was saying, the reverse grid is now reverse 16 as we enter our final lap of race 1 of the season. God. No fastest laps coming through just yet. I don't think we'll see any fastest laps now because the tyres will be going off. Closest people on track. John Bailiff is right behind your leader, so this is your lead fight. Just can't find a way through. Jake Cranston showing no signs of weakness in this first race. All they can do is keep the pressure on. Bit of contact behind by the sounds of it. I think that was Eric Mannenveld into the back of Andre Majorek. Maybe King into the back of Mannenveld. One of those three. Also fairly close. Austin Farr looking close to Mats Anderson. Van Olst is right behind Germany. Greg Otley not far behind as well. Currently, Patrick Depart is on your reverse pole spot. So he might be starting race 2 in pole position. Jan Weiswanger and Dan Thornton swapping positions all over the place here. Still side by side, the ORD and Meatball boys. The Titan fight, we should call this. This is the battle of the legacy drivers as Stephen King just gets past Eric Maninfeld there. Do you know what? I want to see a replay of that because that is a dodgy corner. It's into... Is this into the chicane? It's into the final section. It was on down the inside of turn 12 by Stephen King. Very opportunistic up into P6. Jake Cranston comes around the final turn though, just up the road. There he is. Oh, Austin... No, that's not Austin Farr. That was Henry Morse having a quick look down the inside of the final turn. The Street Casuals machine. And Jake Cranston is going to be your first winner of the season. Your two-time champion wiggles across the line. John Bailiff comes home in P2. Henry Morse brings it home for the podium. And Carl Ridley makes it 2 Win It or Bin It cars in the top 4. It's actually all 3 Win It or Bin It cars in the top 8 because Kieran Dempsey is looking at Eric Maninfeld in P7. Is he going to chuck it down the inside? Oh, this is actually the end of the race. Never mind. They're all just casually bringing it round. I thought that was the final turn, but it was turn 2. Turn 2. As they all start putting their brakes on. But look at Jan Weiswanger crossing the line with Dan Thornton. The fight between those two continues, and Ruslan Kamadalin, there he is for ZFG on his debut, finishes in 32nd place. Tricky circuit, new car, new to the game realistically, still fairly fresh. Joe Gibson, what a trooper, does bring it home in 33rd. In the number 91 Viking Raiders machine, there he goes. I think that livery's going to grow on me, to be honest. And there is Barney, or Bernie, whatever his name is, waving that flag. So, your race 1 results are as follows. This is going to be shown from the iRacing results. So this would not have penalties applied. So we have Jake Cranston in P1. 7 temps down in the end was John Bailiff after that cheeky little look from Henry Morse into that final turn. So John Bailiff and Henry Morse round off your podium. Carl Ridley, Andre Mayerek, Stephen King, Maninfeld, Dempsey, Downing and Burns round off your top 10. Burns managing to keep on that top 10 position. Matt Sanderson P11, Austin Farr, Joshua Germany, Sam Van Elst, Greg Otley and Patrick Dupart are your top 16. Remember for race 2, your top 16 are reversed. So Patrick Dupart and Greg Otley are going to be on your front row, with Sam Van Elst and Joshua Germany on your second row. Then it's Austin Farr and Matt Sanderson. Then Burns, Downing, Dempsey, Maninfeld, King, Mayerek, Ridley, Morse, Bailiff and Cranston in 14th, 15th and 16th place. The rest of your results for race 1. After 16th is Andy Fox in P17, just missing out by 6/10 of a second on a reverse pole. David Corpus there in P18. Andy Schwind P19 on his debut. A respectable position, I think, for Andy Schwind in P19. Is he the highest newbie? Let's just double check this. I think Matt Sanderson is new to Jettas, but not new. Let's face it, he's not new to iRacing, but he's done, well, P11 on his Jetta debut is a solid result. But Andy Geschwind is a debutant to the racing line in general. So Mats has been with us for a couple of leagues now, but this is Andy Geschwind's first showing, and a P19 I think he should be happy with, to be honest, on his debut. If you ask the other newbies, Tim Rutten down in 24th place currently, ahead of Alejandro Caraday and Martin Wallace. Loic Thon, he's a newbie, down in 27th, just ahead of Dan Thornton. Jan Weiswanger there in 29th. Marcus Giesdal, another newbie, in 30th. Ruslan Kamadalin, another rookie, in 31st. Duncan Murray, Joseph Gibson and Donny Henriksen all behind. Now, that is what iRacing shows the results as. But, as I said, the penalties were done. Pre-done. Not going to go through... re-go through the results, but I can tell you, for example, the memorable incidents. We saw Duncan Murray involved in a couple. He did get a 10-second penalty for the Donnie Henriksen issue. A 5-second penalty for the Dan Thornton issue. That does put him, I can't remember who said it in chat, someone asked if he's on for a record quali ban. He might be. He might be. That does put him on 15 penalty points. One more 5-second penalty will see him miss out a qualifying session. But I do believe, actually, at this point, his electricity, because he's in South Africa, his electricity did get shut off. So he's not in race 2. That may have been a blessing in disguise. But we will see Duncan return for round 2 next week. Round 2 being at Summit Point. We're returning to Summit Point. A hunting ground for Martin Wallace, who has only one pole position to his name at that circuit for the ZFG boys. I think there's one ZFG on track at the moment. There he is, Greg Otley. As for other penalties in race 1, I think there was... we didn't see the issue, but there was one for Ruslan, who pushed past Jan Weiswanger. There was one for Jan Weiswanger who... oh, we did see Joseph Gibson off the circuit on lap 1. That was... well, he's forced off the circuit by the looks of it on the penalty list. And that was it for time penalties in race 1. There's a couple of warnings out there as well. But in terms of result changes, not that many at all. I'm going to leave you with... I'm actually going to need to get a glass of water or something, I think. I've got 4 minutes left of this. I know we normally skip it because it's no longer fully live. And I will leave you with... who shall I leave you with? Let's go for... Henry Morse is chasing someone down, so I will put you on board with Henry Morse and be back shortly. And I am back. We have 30 seconds left of the break. 30 seconds left. Hopefully, my voice holds out for the next race, which is twice as long as the previous one. For those of you that are watching and have been with us before, it is the same format as before. The sprint race, half the length of the feature, but the feature requires at least one pit stop. Everyone has to stop. It's as simple as that. Now, I went through the grid earlier. I will show you again. Because remember, I know that this feature shows them in the wrong order. Your top 16 are reversed. So it shows Andy Fox there. And Greg Otley on pole position when I thought Patrick Depart was. So I wonder what changed there. Oh, I do know that Greg Otley received a drive-through penalty in-game. He hit the X limit, so maybe that shuffled everybody around a little bit. But it is showing Patrick Depart on pole position, so maybe I should shut up and just ignore that. But it sounds like the lights are on because they're all revving away. And they're off. Patrick Depart and Greg Otley are on your front row, and away they go. So Greg Otley has there in P2 can't get the run down towards turn 1 as we see 3 wide, 4 wide maybe even in that backpack. A little bit of tyre smoke as they slide around turn 1 and through turn 2 they all go. Oh, 3 wide at the back. That's Donnie Henriksen, I think, who was trying to gain 2 positions there in 1 and does so. Kyle Ridley and Stephen King side by side as they exit. Henry Morse is coming through and gaining positions already. Down towards turn 5 they go. Henry Morse nearly late on the brakes. 3 wide there in the background. They're all side by side as they come through here. Take a bit of a wider shot to actually get some good viewing. Ruslan there being forced on the outside. We've got Mannintveld and Burns, the Sendit or Bendit boys, were side by side. They've slotted in behind. And look at that. That's Stephen King down the inside of John Bailiff through the turn 7, 8 and 9 complex. Still side by side. Oh, Henry Morse. Looks like he pushed John Bailiff out there. Well, it wasn't his fault. John Bailiff, there was a card there. Turned into him. Joshua Germany going down the order. Dropped down to P5 there. And now he's got Dan Downing all over him to the right-hand side. And I think Dan Downing has passed him. And it looks like who is that? That's Matt Sanderson in the 76 machine. Viking Raiders, who also passes Joshua Germany. Camadullan. There's major issues at the back here. That's Dan Thornton again. Let's have a rewatch of whatever happened back here. Dan Thornton spinning round in the middle of the circuit. We've got Andre Majorek here. Oh, big contact. That's Andy Schwind with Andre Majorek, sorry. Bounces over the curve, does Andre. Andy Geschwind is on his inside, but I think he's so far on his inside, doesn't know he's there. So Andre does turn in. Timu Toika gets a bit of it for good measure as well. And if we look in the background, Dan Thornton is actually already spinning. Would have got a touch from behind from Loic Thon, I believe. And look at that as his car rolls backwards. Back into the train. Donnie Henriksen trying his best to avoid. Interesting. Can't actually see what caused all that, but there we go. Let's go back to it. Side by side in the background there, that is Kieran Dempsey and Eric Mannintveld with the sister teams, the illegal sister teams. There should be no such thing. But Kieran Dempsey moves over to defend. They are fighting, these guys. There is no team orders as of yet, but it is round 1 as Ridley comes through. Dempsey's on the grass. Manninveld's now around the outside of turn 2. Who's going to come out on top of this one? I think Dempsey's going to hold it because he's on the inside line. But Manninveld might get an almighty run down towards turn 5. Carl Ridley now slots in behind. This is from Carl Ridley's point of view in the send it or bend it machine. Is he going to make it 3 wide as they head down there? Stephen Burns brakes late, hits the win it or bin it machine of Kieran Dempsey, and look at the other two go. They're all through. There's a Street Casuals car of Henry Moore. Stephen King goes through as well. Stephen Burns says sister teams who spent 16 laps crashing into each other. Anderson and Joshua Germany are side by side through. Oh, that looked very close as Mats Anderson bounced over that curb. Didn't quite make contact, but Manningfeld is going down the order. Why? There he is. Can we see why? He's just slid wide. Looks like he bounced down the curb, slid wide. Eric Manningfeld went off track. Play. Bounces over the curb. Oh, yeah, look at all the speed he carried. Oh, he popped a little backwards wheelie there as he slid down that slid down the turn 7, 8 and 9. But Andy Geschwind in the pits. Duncan Murray, like I said, is out with electricity. Andy Geschwind may have a meatball. Kieran Dempsey concedes, was the word I was looking for there, to Eric Manningfeld. Greg Otley side by side again, loves battling through this final section. Really, the panning camera there gives a real sense of speed. Greg Otley currently in P2, showing Dan Thornton in the lead, but that'll be because of his issue. I imagine when they cross the line it will re-sort that. Patrick Depart leading this way. Greg Otley holding on to P2, but he's got Sam Van Olst right behind him. Austin Farr is there as well. Joshua Germany up in P7, Matt Sanderson P8. And then a little bit of a gap behind. Andre says, I got wheel spin off the start until I got to like 3rd gear. That must have been a temperature change across the races. Bailiff and Fox are fighting here. This is into turn 5, and Cranston looks like he's trying to come through as well. Jake Cranston's still in P16 right now on lap 4. That's interesting stuff. The 2-time champion hasn't made as many gains as he usually does. Starting a little bit further back this season from the usual reverse 12. Maybe he's playing it safe, but he did win race 1. He hasn't got to win them all, but I don't think he's going to stay there as Dan Thornton now drops to his real position. And Ika Lequay looks like he's going down the order. What happened to Ika? Ooh. That's the triple chicane problem. And away he goes. Continues on with his race. Patrick Depart then. It's now showing lap 3. I don't know what lap we're on anymore. This is the problem with replays. Yeah, let's go back to Cranston, who is now under all sorts of pressure as he's trying to still pass Andy Fox through this final section. He's on the inside for the final turn. I think Fox could get a run on the exit if he can keep his nose there. He does keep his nose there, but he dips a wheel on the grass. And Jake slots in front of him. He's got Timu Toika behind. Timu Toika is going to have a look around the outside of Corpus, I believe. Couldn't quite get it done. Nothing doing. Jake Cranston through turn 2. They all slide out about a car's width there as they carry the speed through. Get the throttle on as early as you can. And then they all slipstream their way up to T5. Andre says it's nice seeing the sand trap actually stop cars now. Yes, it is. I'll be honest, I actually don't... I mean, I know there is a massive deal. Oh, that looked like a big send it and bend it move there. I think that was Andy Fox again. It might have been Manningfeld up the road. It was one of the green machines. I haven't really noticed much of a difference with the grass, but I know other people have said it's a lot easier to save cars now. It's a big old train behind Patrick Depart as we see them all now exiting this. Just look at that. They're all still on the same part of the track. And then there's another little train behind the Meatball Motorsport machine. Who is that that's causing a train? I think that's Tim Rutten, who's got a little group behind him. The newbie Tim Rutten up there in 21st place with a nice little gaggle of cars behind him. Good lad. 13 cars behind him. Crazy when you say you're in 21st place, but you've still got 13 cars behind you. Racing for position as Carraday has a look to the inside. Can't get it done. Thought he was going to send it there, but he did not. And then that's Martin Wallace behind as well for ZFG. This is what it looks like on the nose of his car. Austin Farr looks very close to Sam Van Olst at the moment in P4. 2/10 the gap. One of the closest cars on circuit. Look at the speed Wallace carried there. Oh, contact there on Tim Rutten from Carraday. Big touch, but it looks like he's going to keep the place. Carraday hitting the rear of his machine. Just looking for the space. Penalties given out for advantage by contact. You have to get past cleanly. As he sends it down the inside of the hairpin, Tim Rutten turns in. There's the contact. Spins him out towards the right-hand side of the circuit, and Carraday does get past, and that's a clear example of advantage by contact. Wonder if it stays that way round. Tim Rutten with the meatballs on his number plate. Martin Wallace was looking like he was going to have a look down the inside then. But Carraday showing no patience in this first round at Barber Motorsports Park. Andre Marek 4.7 seconds up the road though. You can see the train in the distance. You'll see them come out the exit of that fast chicane. There they are. There's Carraday. 5 seconds back. And here is your lead fight. Patrick Dupart, Greg Otley, Sam Van Olst, Austin Farr. And look at that. There we go. We see some cars start flying into the pits. Dan Downing triggered the pit stops. Henry Morse in. Kyle Ridley in. Who else was behind? There was someone else I just saw. John Bailiff is in. Eric Mannenveld is in. All the cars. They're on lap 6 now. Entering lap 6. Remember, they're not allowed to pit before lap 5. And a load of cars deciding to take that decision. And you can see them tumbling down the order. Dan Thornton, though, who I don't think has pit yet. Maybe he did pit with damage. I don't know. Let's have a quick look. Did Dan Thornton pit? Oh, he did. He pit on lap 1, so he did pit with damage. Andy Geschwind out of the race, so he didn't return, I don't think. Or maybe he just had a quick break and did return later. Dan Thornton already pit. Everybody else pits on lap 5. And who will be the next one to trigger those stops? This was always an interesting one, wasn't it? Your pit lane time. So quickest pit stop so far in this feature race. 41.8, 41.4. This is from pit lane entry to pit lane exit. So it's not just the stop time. It is your pit entry. And it is the pit exit speed. As we see, that's Austin Farr and Mats Anderson diving in. A lap later, John Bailiff, I think. Oh, he did say actually he reversed. He missed his box, reversed back into his space, but still did a 44.7. Quicker than Marcus Gestel, quicker than Tim Rutten, even with a reverse. As we see more and more cars come in. Daniel Downing is your lead pit stopper right now. Let's see where he comes out in relation to Austin Farr and Mats Anderson, who I think are already on pit exit. Dan Downing comes flying down the straight. They're on the left-hand side. You can just see the roof of Austin Farr's car there. Through turn 1 goes Dan Downing. Where is Austin Farr? He's right out there on the left-hand side. Takes no risks in cutting across the Goldwing machine, but he does take the lead, the net lead of this race. Austin Farr with a 41.9. Dan Downing now effectively in P2 with Henry Morse in P3. The Street Casuals machine. Patrick Dupart and Greg Otley still leading this race. Now what is going to happen with this lot here as they all come out together? Mats Anderson at 42.3 for his stop. The pit exit of Gibson is funny. I'm guessing I missed that. It's 46.4. Pit entry. Could go back to that, but I don't know how far back that was. Let's have a quick look. No, he's already in the pits. Does not show anything. I'm guessing he hits the wall. This device bang up. That's what I'm assuming happens. Joshua Germany's having a good little race here. It shows him now chasing down Sam Van Olst and Greg Otley. Casual P4 at the moment. Stephen King in P5. Kieran Dempsey P6. But Austin Farr, the lead pit stopper. Let's have a quick look at the actual stop times. So this is the amount of time these cars were stopped in terms of how much fuel was taken. This is your stationary time then. Austin Farr 8.9, Henry Morse 8.7, Andre Mayerek 8.7. So Andre Mayerek and Henry Morse, your fastest pit stoppers of this round so far. 8.7 seems to be the benchmark to beat. Anderson was an 8.8, so he's had a pretty good stop. 8.9 for Farr was also pretty good. 9.2, 9.4, 9.5 in retrospect would be pretty slow, so anything 10 seconds and above is well, is not good enough, I guess, in terms of racing, because you're losing out 2-3 seconds just in stoppage time. Andre Mayerek says, did a good stop for a change. Yes, you did. Net best with Henry Morse. Let's see what the others can do. Where's Austin Farr? Is he going to come out ahead? I think he's already through turn 1. So he's definitely passed all those pit stoppers that have just come in. Looks like Tim Rutten might be battling on pit exit here. You can see Martin Wallace on the left-hand side. He does pass him. Tim Rutten then is going to gain that position. He does. Greg Otley and Patrick Depart side by side. Sam Van Olst and Joshua Germany nearly side by side. These guys have not pit yet, and the more they fight, the more the pit stoppers are going to catch them up. Oh, he nearly runs into Patrick. Sam's trying to get through. Josh is trying to get through. Greg Otley's putting up a defence, but Patrick Depart 3 wide as they enter the turn 12 complex. Sam Van Olst on the inside, no contact made. The two Pulsus boys now back to back. Kept Jake behind for 3 laps. You all need to thank me, said Stephen Burns. Greg Otley, though, putting on a show up here at the front. Is he going to pit? No, but Patrick Depart does. He flies into the pits, and Sam Van Olst decides, I'm going to follow you, as does Joshua Germany. And Timu Toika, and there's a Send It and Bend It car in there as well. That's Stephen Burns coming in the pits. Anyone gone quicker than 8.7? No. So Austin Farr then, and Dan Downing and Henry Morse. Dan Downing actually looking to be fighting. Where is Austin Farr? He must be driving up the road. 2.6 seconds up the road is Austin Farr from this little gaggle. So Dan Downing fighting to keep these guys behind. Lost 2.6 seconds so far. This is on board Henry Morse's car. I don't think they're going to come outside. Oh, they are. That's Patrick Depart up the road. Joshua Germany side by side with Carl Ridley on the exit of the pit lane. Eric Mannenveld in there too. Sam Van Olst has lost a few places. Carl Ridley goes to come over on the exit. Nearly squeezed Joshua Germany. And now I think Josh is just like, well, I'm still here. So turn into me if you will. But they go down towards turn 5. Joshua Germany on the inside. Sam Van Olst side by side with Mannenveld behind as well. It's 2 by 2 by 2 as they go through turn 5. Down towards the chicane now. And Joshua Germany's on the outside. Now this is a dangerous place for the number 4 machine. He's in P11 right now. He has got Carl Ridley on his inside. Through they go, down towards turn 7, 8 and 9. There's plenty of room given there. And Joshua Germany sweeps round the outside. No contact made. Great move from the Pulsus Esports driver. And now look at the exit. It's 4 wide. Tap of the brakes there from the Viking Raiders machine of Anderson. Did not want to go 4 wide into the chicane. Smart decision, because you would have lost heaps of time. But Sam Van Olst, Carl Ridley still side by side. Joshua Germany will be enjoying this in his mirror as we see Greg Otley and Stephen King now come into the pits. Oh, Carl Ridley actually had a touch there, and then the Send It and Bend It boys. Big slide. So Carl Ridley and Matt Sanderson coming together there. Big slide off the circuit for Ridley. Loses that position. Down to P14. And then the Send It or Mend It boys made contact with Kyle rejoining. But Kyle's rejoin was fine. I think the Send It or Mend It boys got a little bit scared. And they're all together on track, actually. Ridley, Manningfeld, Bailiff, Burns and Dempsey, as we see people shuffling around the order. Depart is there with King right behind him, as we see Morse and Otley side by side. Is Greg going to go for a move here? This is on board Henry Morse's car. We want to see on board Greg's. He's down the inside of turn 5. Dan Downing moves over to cover him off, so he doesn't lose a position. But Henry Morse around the outside. Looks like Greg got a slow exit there, to be honest, as we heard his engine bog down. But I don't think Henry's got a massive run. They're going to try what Joshua Germany did. Jake Cranston and Jan Weisfanger have still not pit, and we're on lap 8. Greg Otley around the outside. Henry Morse gives him room. Oh, it's a bit tighter. Does not give him room on the exit as he sends it down towards turn 9. Greg Otley gets a bit of contact. Henry Morse gains that position. Bit feisty from Henry Morse there. Jake Cranston now enters the pits. Has anyone beat 8.7? I can't see quicker than 8.7. Oh, actually, tell a lie. Ruslan Kamadalin has done an 8.4 second stop. But what's the total pit stop time? And did he run out of fuel? It's a 42.4. It's a pretty good stop from Ruslan. 41.8 from Dan Downing, though, still shows as the quickest, I think. So scroll down, looking through them. Hull, Michael and Gibson in the 35s. That's massively quicker, so I wonder if that was a meatball service or not. But Jake Cranston has come out side by side with Stephen King, and then he gets a switchback, nearly. There was no room there, so he tried it. Greg Otley says, what happened to Henry Morse? He's down in 20th place, so something has happened to Henry. Let's have a quick look back and see if I can find anything. Has it already happened here? He's already in the pits here. This is him going into the pits. Oh, he's on the grass there. And is he going to go into the pits now? Has he got a drive-through or something? I'm not too sure what happened to Henry. Yeah, he's had his X full. He's hit the X limit of 20, which is a shame. So he's going to serve the drive-through, and that will take him down the order. 20X is plenty, I think. But it is sad to see such a strong driver suffer from it. Greg Otley had one in race 1, but he didn't have to serve it because he got it on the last lap, so it just gets added. It's actually worse, I think, that way. He gets like 40 seconds added to his time. But Austin Farr is leading this race, lap 11 of 16. He's got a 1.4 second lead to Patrick Depart behind him. Now, would you believe it? The Street Casuals driver, Austin Farr, who has been with us since season 2, if I remember rightly. John says Henry had too much doing, so had a drive-through. Oh, Greg says he got it this race. Ah, okay, it's the last lap of this race. Yeah, Austin Farr, would you believe it, for Street Casuals, only has never won. He has never won a race, and he's currently leading round 1, race 2. He's had plenty of podiums, 4 podiums, I think, in his Jetta Cup career. Often finishes top 5 overall in the season, around that point. So no slouch. But never won. So can he hold on to this? Let's get rid of those pit stop times. We don't need them no more. You've all seen your pit stop times. King and Cranston still going at it here. And, oh, King squeezes him to the outside. He's trying to fight him, holds him tight to the inside. No, that's the outside of turn 1, is it? Is that where we are? We are down the main straight. Stephen King on the inside now. Jake Cranston on the inside for turn 2. Can King hold it round the outside of turn 2? It's going to be risky. He's going to try it. Keeps his nose there. Jake moves over on him. Shuts the door. Slams the door. Jan Weiswanger says he underfueled. Dan Downing. Oh, well, there you go. Greg Otley with a big old push on Stephen King. And there goes Dan Downing, who gains that position. Broke a little bit late, did the ZFG driver, but there goes Jake Cranston on his way. He's on a podium in a reverse 16 race. Patrick Depart and Austin Farr a little bit further up the road. It's lap 12 so far. Four laps remaining, and the gap is 1.8 seconds to Patrick Depart, who's currently in P2. So I said earlier he's not doing his usual of getting a podium in race 1, but he's looking in a strong position for a podium in race 2. And Austin Farr, never before Jetta race winner in the 79 Street Casuals machine, might be about to take his first win. Does he care? He pretends like he doesn't. I'll always remember the first win. When you've waited for the first win for a while, I feel like it's special. Didn't actually talk to Austin about this. Maybe he's around for an interview, or maybe he's in class or something. I'm not sure. But always remember Andy Fox's first win at Monza. Throwback to that. Where is Andy Fox right now? He's in P16. But a momentous occasion at Monza Junior when Andy Fox takes his first victory. All the drivers very, very happy for him. And I can't show you the other driver who deserves a mention, but Jerry Agard's first podium, which he waited years for. Another momentous racing line history occasion. Kieran Dempsey and Stephen Burns are fighting it out here, side by side. They are. Send it and bend it, win it and bin it, or bin it, win it or bin it. Down towards 7, 8 and 9. I think Dempsey's going to back out of it. Burns keeps the position. Toyka looking to take advantage of this in the Pulsar C Sports machine. He's up into P14. He's having a better race too. Is Teemu Toyka. Didn't mount any cars this time through that section. It's lap 13 of 16. There's 3 laps remaining. As we see a gaggle of 4 machines here. Anyone in chat know? This is a genuine question, I don't know the answer, but why are there spiders at Barber Motorsport Park? Why is that a thing? What do the spiders represent here? Take this time to thank you all for coming, drivers or not, whoever's supporting the Jetta Cup season. This season, we're glad to have you here. Streams on Friday nights now, every Friday. Around 8 o'clock UK time. Let's have a look at the different pit strategies then, shall we? Austin Farr, lap 6 he pitted. Depart pitted on lap 8. Cranston lap 10. King 9, Downing 5. Mannenveld swapping over Mats Anderson here. Mats Anderson going down. It looks like it's getting dark here. Oh, bounces over the curve does Anderson, and then they touch down towards turn 9. John Bailiff nearly gets a switch back on both of them. Nothing doing. Drives straight into the back of him. Honestly, no fault of John, to be honest. He had nowhere to go. But Eric Mannenveld holds on to that position. That could have got pretty close. Greg Otley, though, still fighting away up here in P6. He was on. I know I've already spoiled it because I've got the races the wrong way around, but he was on for an almighty result for ZFG here. He's in P6, and he is hounding the Pulsar's driver of Stephen King. Joshua Germany behind. So Pulsar's having a good day out at the moment. Sam Van Olst, Eric Mannenveld in P8 and 9, and Mats Anderson in the top 10. I wonder if Mats is feeling a bit more comfortable in the Jetta now. I remember doing a fun race a while back and him saying it's just not his car. Didn't enjoy it, but he seems to have found a bit of pace at the start of the season, which is good to see from him. Dan Downing up there in P4. He'll be happy with this. Hasn't bottled it. Should be proud of that. But we're on lap 15 of 16, and the gap has closed to 0.2 of a second between Patrick Depart and Austin Farr. Is Austin Farr going to bottle his first Jetta Cup win? Has Patrick Depart won a Jetta Cup race? Let me check that. I don't know. He has not. Patrick Depart is also never won in the Jetta Cup. So we've got 2 debut winners fighting it out for the win on lap 15 of 16 with a 2-time champion who's won plenty of times, hunting them down. I say plenty of times. I can tell you the exact amount of times. Jake Cranston has won 21 times in the Jetta Cup season. Jetta Cup seasons only. That's 40 podiums to Jake Cranston's name, 12 poles and 23 fastest laps to that man in the orange machine. The most successful Jetta driver in the Volkswagen Jetta Cup, powered by GT Omega on the Racing Lines channel. 62 race starts across 4 seasons. Morgan Burkhardt, second most successful. Hasn't shown up to this season just yet. He is in it. We will see him as these two cross the line. The white flag waves and the last lap is on. Patrick Depart looking down the inside of turn 1. Does nothing doing. I can't stop saying it now, John. Thank you for that, for putting it in chat. I literally have no other words to say. But Patrick Depart, let's have a look from the nose of his car. That is Joshua Germany's car. We don't want to see that. Here we go. In fact, Jake Cranston will have a better view of all of this. Has a look, goes to have a look. Austin defends these two. Quite rightly so. And then further behind, you got Dan Downing, you got Greg Otley and Stephen King still fighting it out. Looks like Greg Otley has passed Stephen King as they go down towards 7, 8 and 9. But Stephen King having another look down the inside. Is he? Bounces over the curb. Oh, throws it down turn 9. Bounces over that curve. Little touch. Joshua Germany's going to come through and gain that position. And then look behind is Sam Van Olst. And all of those send it or bend it and win it or bin it cars. Majorek is fighting side by side with Andy Fox. Corpus as well. There's too many things to look at this. Austin Farr, though, leading the way. Patrick Depart has never won. Jake Cranston is right here. They're entering the final section. I don't know what to look at here. We're going to have to look at some replays, I imagine, because we have to look at your top 3. Debut winners. Patrick goes to look down the final corner. Austin Farr round the final turn for the first time in Volkswagen Jetta Cup history. Austin Farr takes the win with Patrick Depart 4 tenths away from his first win. And there he goes. He weaves to the left and right. That shows that he does have a little bit of emotion and does really care. He does enjoy it. And they all start crossing the line. And we see people swapping over behind. Big cluster of cars down at turn 1. For Austin Farr, debut win ever. That puts him, your street casuals car. Where's he gone? He was still there a second ago. There he is. So with Austin Farr's first win, he had 4 podiums before this. That makes it podium number 5 with 1 win to his name. That jumps him above Andy Fox, Dan Blake, Teemu Toika and Jameson Huffman in the total statistics of the Volkswagen Jetta Cup. That 1 win jumps him above all of them. Jameson Huffman has 1 win to his name, but 4 podiums in total. Teemu Toika has 1 win and 2 podiums. Dan Blake, 1 win, which is his only podium. Andy Fox, that 1 win and his only podium. Next up for Austin Farr, he's actually equal on stats there, win stats, with Arthur Thurtle, who did 1 season with us in the Jetta. Wanted to take part in this season, actually, Arthur, if it was run on Fridays. But if Austin can get one more win, that will jump him to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th most successful Jetta driver. Happy for him. Chat popping off. Make sure you watch the last lap gaggle behind these cars. We'll go back and watch a replay. Stephen King says, congrats Austin. Austin, what a race. GG Austin, win number 1. Big up Eric for the fastest lap in the sprint. Eric Mannenfeld taking the fastest lap in the sprint race. And congrats to all the new guys, especially Matt, on finishing so well on his Jetta debut. I think a 10th and 11th if I remember rightly, but we'll double check that in a second. Stephen Burns claiming his highest grid position ever in quali. I told you he's a new and improved driver this season. And Dempsey showed he's still a contender despite a season out. Kieran Dempsey did not race with us in season 3, but has lost no pace, and it is great to see him return. Let's have a quick look, if I can rewind a little bit back and have a look at that gaggle, because there was a lot going on. Ooh, that looks far back. We don't want that. Max Anderson passing Eric Mannenfeld. Let's go to the white flag lap. Look at this mess. Who is this? Who is leading all this? Sam van Olst? It is Sam van Olst. John says great results for all the drivers assigned for this season. And look at all the cars behind Sam, just looking to gain positions. Sounded like he was out of fuel then. Is he coughing? Sam out of fuel? Or was he just lifting? He is out of fuel. Someone else is out of fuel. I'm sure he is. He's coughing and spluttering. That's why everyone's so close behind. Look at this. Sam's going to lose a number of positions here. Send it or bend it. John Bailiff comes through. How many's... Oh, my God. Okay. Well, what pit stop time did Sam do? .4. So it wasn't even the quickest pit stop time, and he ran out of fuel. How? Very confusing stuff, but that was worth a replay. Shall we have another look at that? Not sure why he's on his roof, but there we go. Whose view shall we look for? How far back is Stephen Burns from this? Let's look at Stephen Burns' point of view of this ending then. So Sam van Olst, the gold car up the road, is out of fuel all the way through this section. He's spluttering. The diesel car struggling to get a drive. And then watch this out of this final corner. This is where it really bunches up. Matt Sanderson side by side with John Bailiff through here. Car looking worse for wear. Sam van Olst trying to park it on the apex. He's out of fuel. Eric Mannenfeld gets the switchback. Now watch John. There's contact here between these two as he bounces over the curb, taps a wheel on the grass. Probably doesn't know he's out of fuel just yet. He does now though, because Sam is slow. And this is where the contact happens. Ready? Because Eric Mannenfeld's still there. Bit of netcode. Carries on. Pushes Sam off the circuit and across the line. I think they all gain those positions. In fact, we can see it if we look at the results. Feature race results are as follows then. Austin Farr, debut win. Patrick Dupart takes his first podium of many, I assume, this season. Jake Cranston gets another podium, 2 podiums down out of 2. Daniel Downing, P4. He will be happy with that. Joshua Germany does bring it home in P5. And Stephen King, P6. Eric Mannenfeld, P7. John Bailiff, P8. Stephen Burns, P9. And Matt Sanderson, P10. That's a very strong result for that top 10. Timu Toika in P11. Kieran Dempsey and Carl Ridley, P12 and 13. Sam Van Olst drops to P14. He was in front of Eric Mannenfeld, remember? So he was in P7. He lost 7 places from running out of fuel at the end there. Andy Fox, P15. David Corpus, P16. Andre Marek and Yuzi Samindra in P18. Do you know who's missing? Greg Otley. Because of the drive-through they received at the end. I told you it probably feels worse to get one on the last lap, because you don't have to serve it, but you will get time added. Greg Otley was fighting Joshua Germany and Stephen King in P5 for the feature race, and it would have been an outstanding result for that man. He would have been over the moon, and I'm sure, well, I hope that we see that form continue. But with that drive-through penalty added to his time, he does drop way, way down the order. That is very upsetting. Andre Marek there in P17. Yuzi Samindra P18. Henry Morse down in P19. He had a drive-through in that race. He'll be disappointed with that. Martin Wallace P20. Tim Rutten and P21 again. Was he there last time? So Tim Rutten doing well. Loic Thon P22. Seb Holmichael 23rd. Joe Gibson and Marcus Giesel for Viking Raiders 24th and 25th. Jan Weisfanger ahead of Dan Thornton. The Titan battle continues. Greg Otley in P27 then after that penalty. So he went from 5th to 27th. Caraday 28th. Thornton 29th. Ruslan in 30th. Ekelquaig, Schwind, Henriksen and Murray round off your 34 cars. Now. Like I said, we can actually see the results now. In terms of penalties for the feature race, I don't think there was many 5 seconds. But I will double check. There was one for Loic Thon. 5 seconds for advantage by contact. That was on lap 1. There was 5 seconds for Caraday, advantage by contact. And there was 5 seconds for Andy Fox for advantage by contact on Andre at the end of the race. Timu Toika got 5 seconds, so he drops down the order a little bit. So that P12 will drop him down a little bit. He got it for advantage by contact on David Corpus on lap 6. And Henry Morse he made contact with. Number 46. Who is number 46? That is... Oh, sorry, that's Timu Toika. I was right, it was Corpus. Number 76 gets 5 seconds on Henry Morse. That's Matt Spurger, Matt Sanderson, up there in P10. Right, your race results then. This is your championship standings. Let's have a look at what it looks like. So, Jake Cranston, 2-time Jetta Cup champion, has 112 points to his name. He leads John Bailiff, the number 22 machine. Is this his season? Is he the title contender at last? 4 seasons deep. Is John Bailiff going to put together a full season and chase down Jake Cranston? He is currently 19 points behind, if my maths is correct. But he's got Austin Farr only 3 points behind him. And Austin Farr will be looking to make those gains. Anything can happen this season. We've only had 1 round and you've seen it. The drive through for Jake will easily put him back in the clutches of everybody else. Stephen King, P4 in the standings. Often the runner-up. Always keeps consistent. 84 points for him. Dan Downing in P5 will be over the moon. Eric Mannenfeld up there in P6 with Carl Ridley P7. Patrick Depart P8. Josh Germany P9. Kieran Dempsey, a strong return to the season. Equal on points with Joshua Germany there in P10. Official results are on the website as well, as are the latest statistics. Let's have a look at the rest. Stephen Burns then, P11. Henry Morse, P12 currently. He will be making an almighty comeback, I imagine, after a disappointing round 1. Andre Marek, P13. Matt Sanderson, P14. Sam Van Olst, 15th. Corpus, Toika, and Andy Fox. Your top 18 in the drivers' standings. That's your halfway point, remember, the 36-car grid. So then the bottom half at the moment. Jesus Mundere, 37 points, only 2 points behind Andy. Greg Otley, 34 points. Tim Rutten, 21st on his debut race. A great showing from Tim, 29 points equal with teammate Sebastian Holmichael for Meatball Motorsport, 29 points each. Martin Wallace, 28, just 1 point behind. Loic Thon there in 24th, equal on points with Andy Schwind. The two new drivers, rookie drivers there for Parallel Racing Group and Street Casuals, 23 points each. Ika Lequay there with 22 points. Marcus Giestel, 20 points. Alejandro Caraday down there in 28th with 19 points, equal with Joe Gibson, the Viking Raiders, 19 points also. And there they are, Jan Weiswanger and Dan Thornton in 30th and 31st place with 18 points each. And I'm sure we'll all be watching with an invested interest at who comes out on top in that fight. And hopefully it does not involve contact between those two during this season. Ruslan, 14 points on his debut in 32nd place. Donny Henriksen, 7 points. Duncan Murray, 4 points. And Jerry Agard, who is not here yet, is 0 points. Morgan Burkhardt should be there as well in 36th with 0 points as well. Looking forward to Jerry and Morgan making their return to the grid. Teams Championship is as follows. Win it or bin it then. For, I want to say the first time. Win it or bin it for the first time, lead the Teams Championship. Have they led before, maybe, for a round? But Win it or bin it are genuinely leading, and they are 32 points in the lead. A very strong very strong first race of the season for them. Pulsar Esports, last year's champions in P2 with 203 points. Unchanged lineup for them. Strong lineup for Win It or Bin It. They're going to be the ones to beat, I think. Send It or Bend It have made an almighty round one with 195 points. Stephen in chat saying, imagine if they can get a 1-2, the two sister teams. That would be pretty crazy. And to be honest, if Send It and Bend It can beat Win It or Bin It, that will be that'll be something, because some of the drivers in Send It and Bend It were essentially sacked from Win It or Bin It, and maybe there's some resentment now, I don't know. Maybe we should try and create that inter-team drama. Street Casuals, disappointed probably with P4, but not too far off, and will climb that order, I think. ORD, P5 on their first race. Goldwing Motorsport, P6, they've had a strong showing. If Duncan Murray can tidy up his act and get back to how he normally is with his pace, and his strong results, then they will definitely climb as well. Masters of Talk currently down in P7. They will be stronger when Jerry Agard returns, and hopefully we see Donny return as well, although maybe work commitments will clash. We are waiting to hear from him. Viking Raiders P8, new team Viking Raiders P8 with ORD driver connections. There they are, 102 points. 3 points ahead of Lurchus Gaming with 99 points. Meatball Motorsport are in P10, just 1 point ahead of Zero Forks Given Racing. That is the difference a penalty can make, because realistically, I think if Greg Otley finished where he finished, Zero Forks Given might have been even as high as P8. They might have been equal with Viking Raiders around that point. I'm not sure how many points it would have been worth, but it would have been a lot. And Parallel Racing Group currently in P12 at 46 points. When Morgan Burkhardt returns, expect that to change for sure. Morgan Burkhardt being the second most successful driver on the grid, I'm sure he will drag that team up through the order. That is your team's championship. Street Casuals aren't to be underestimated, says Stephen King. I completely agree. Henry Morse and Austin Farr, obviously a really strong pairing, and Andy Gushwin on his debut, I think, should be happy with those results. And if he can consistently climb, they will be very much up there. John says it's the battle of the third driver. Each team having essentially a third driver that maybe isn't as strong as the lead two, which I think actually tends to make it a little bit interesting, to be honest. Although realistically, I think, I don't know, in terms of driver lineup and what we've seen in the past, Win It or Bin It definitely have the strongest lineup, complete lineup, with Ridley, Dempsey and Bailiff. Not sure who would be next, to be honest. I think everyone else is pretty even. There's three very strong veterans in that team. John Bailiff has done an almighty job signing those drivers. But there's your current winners then on the right-hand side of your screens. Cranston wins Media Day with Burkhardt winning the second race in Media Day. Round 1, the official round. Cranston wins race 1. Austin Farr wins race 2 for the first time. Summit Point Raceway next, round 2. Next week, Friday, same time I will be here. I don't know if anyone's here for an interview. Let's have a quick look if there's anyone in the interview waiting room. No, there is not. So we don't have any interviews today. No problem. Stephen King says you're calling Dempsey a third driver. That's unreal. Because when he was in Pulsus, he was not, was he? Joshua Germany's normally the third driver. No, that's not fair of me. I'm not saying that. Anyway, it was good to see you all. Thank you for watching. That is round 1 of the Volkswagen Jetta Cup powered by GT Omega. What was I going to say then? My mind's gone blank. I don't think I feel well, guys. Is COVID going around again? I don't know. Yeah, good to see you in stream. Thanks for joining, chat. If I don't see you on track this week, then I'll see you next week for the next video here on the Racing Line. Peace.